Another barrier that you listed was beliefs and behaviors of management teams. Could you share examples of that then?
I've got another great story to tell that illustrates how important this is. Fear in the workplace is such a bad thing. When people are afraid to tell the truth about a problem, only bad things happen from that. Production losses occur. Sometimes there's safety issues that become an issue. Costs are always higher, and morale is always lower. When people don't feel free to speak about what they really need to talk about, then it's just really a barrier to change. If management, on the other hand, welcomes all news, whether it be good or bad news, and that everybody understands that the important thing is fixing the problem, not reprimanding employees for delivering the bad news, then everything changes. The culture changes. People are free to speak. All kinds of important things are fixed that otherwise would only have been talked about behind closed doors. In relation to this, when I talk about fear with management teams and I'm meeting with them, I always show a cartoon that I saw years ago. And there are 3 rabbits in the cartoon holding up a stagecoach, and they're holding shotguns on the 2 stagecoach drivers. And the stagecoach drivers have their hands up. And the caption says, "This ain't going to look good on our report, Leroy." And everybody always laughs in the room because they know it's absolutely the truth. And that if people are afraid to talk about what happened, or they made a promise that they'd fixed a problem and it breaks again, they're embarrassed about that. And helping people understand how much of a barrier that really is in the workplace is important. I had the most interesting and fascinating thing happen when I was meeting with a management team a few years ago. We got to the rabbit slide, and we talked about that, and the site manager stopped the meeting. He said, "Kay, stop the meeting." And he stood up, and for 10 minutes, he shared with his people what their problems were that they weren't talking about. And he said, "Guys, we sure have a lot of rabbits around here." And the moment he said that, he freed them to talk about things they'd never been able to talk about before. Turns out, there were people sitting at the table, department heads, that had problems between departments for years and were afraid to confront each other about them. There were all kinds of rabbits, if you want to call them that, kept happening over and over, and they kept dealing with them over and over. And from that moment on, as I worked with that team of people, they were different. They were able to talk about anything, and it was the most amazing thing to see what happened.
How many people out there that are working in companies that don't feel like they could say anything because if they do, maybe their job would be on the line or what have you?